Eight years ago, in July 2016, my beautiful husband Jeremy died from a rare form of renal cancer. It was the most devastating time of my life. Hi, I'm Shalini Lucas, and I'm a holistic healer, mindfulness and meditation coach, and an end-of-life doula, working with people and their families in the last times of their lives, the last months and days and weeks as they navigate the process of death. When Jeremy died, I really understood grief. Grief is a merciless master. It pulls you down to the very depths of despair. And the way I coped at that time was I became a recluse. I abused alcohol and painkillers. I ate unhealthy foods. And I used to watch TV to numb the pain for almost 20 hours a day. Sleep evaded me. People didn't know what to say to me. They would cross the street to avoid me so they didn't have to talk to me, to find out how I was. And when they did speak to me, they didn't know how to talk to somebody who was grieving. They would say things like, "Time will heal." Somebody said to me, "You're still young. You'll find someone else." There was one person who said to me, "At least you've found somebody and you have loved. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all." What did I want to hear? I wanted to hear, "I'm so sorry for your loss." That's all I wanted to hear. "I'm sorry for your loss. I'm here. What can I do for you?" But perhaps what I wanted to hear most was, "Tell me something about Jeremy. Share a memory of him." Because when you lose somebody, people think you don't want to talk about them. But that's far from the truth. I wanted to talk about him. I wanted to share memories. I wanted to keep him alive for as long as I could. If not physically alive, then at least in my memory. After Jeremy's death, I didn't want to live without him. It was at my father's funeral that I had the turning point. You see, Jeremy and my father both had cancer, and they both tried to fight the disease, but the disease got the better of them. And here I was, I had life, and I was throwing it away. So I decided that it was time to live again. It was time to laugh again. And yes, perhaps it was time to love again, but that wasn't on the agenda at the time. First, I had to start loving myself again. I had to start loving life again. And so I started looking at three aspects of me: my mind, my body, and my spirit. And by looking at those three aspects and working holistically on me, I was able to grieve, fully grieve, and heal. With the mind, I started looking at my mindfulness and meditation practices again. Grief therapy was a huge part of my healing, being able to speak about how I felt, my thoughts, my emotions, and just to be able to process them. The body. When you grieve, wow, even your teeth hurt. I used to feel like my hair was hurting. That's the kind of level of pain you feel. So I started nourishing my body. I started sleeping through the night again, getting as many hours as my body needed. I started exercising because that helped release those endorphins. It started making me feel better. Dancing, going out in nature. I started eating again, eating well, nutritious food. I began to feel better. And then I started looking at the spirit aspect. I had to look outside of myself instead of just focusing on myself. And I set up the Jeremy Lucas Education Fund, which is a fund based in northern Kenya, where we fund young children to go to secondary school and also now tertiary education and try and get them jobs as well. I also had to find purpose outside of myself. So I wanted to keep learning, keep experiencing. So I learned to ride a motorbike. I also drove a tuk-tuk round the island of Sri Lanka, and I built a cabin in Nanyuki on the equator in Kenya, which was a tribute to Jeremy. These were all ways of experiencing new things. And then finally, looking at spirit is connection, is connecting again. And one of the ways I connected was with Widowed and Young, which is a charity based in the UK, and it's a peer-to-peer support group for widows under the age of 50. And I was a widow at the age of 40. So I found much compassion from them and much comfort in knowing that there were people who were in the same boat as me. I was not alone. I want to share a really short grief meditation with you that you can use for yourself or others. So just finding a comfortable position in the chair that you're sitting and planting your feet flat on the ground. Closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, whatever you feel comfortable with. And putting your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your stomach. And just focusing on your breath, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. Honoring every breath into your body and every breath out. Deepen the breath, slow it down. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you do that, I want you to bring to your mind's eye someone you have lost. Now that could be a family member, a friend, or even a pet. Just bring them to your mind, picturing them in front of you, imagining them as healthy and happy, a positive memory of them. And I want you to send that image, that person, that pet, love and gratitude. The love you feel for them even though they're not physically there, and gratitude for them being in your life. Focus on that for as long as you want. And then bring your awareness to your heart. Just being aware of how your heart feels in this moment. Your heart is full of love and compassion and gratitude. Just stay with that moment. Feel love for yourself. Give yourself compassion. And then bring your awareness back to your breathing, back to my voice, back to the room you're in, and gently open your eyes. If there's one thing I want you to take away today, it's this. Grieving is universal. We will all grieve something or someone, but it's also very personal. How I grieve is very different to how you will grieve. How long I grieve for, how intensely, where I grieve, it's all different. So honor that process. Understand that there's no right or wrong way of grieving. But we must all go through grief. We cannot go around it. To be able to move forward in life, we have to grieve. I still grieve Jeremy every day, but the grief has changed. It's gone from a piercing pain in the heart to an ache. And that ache reminds me that I loved this man and he loved me, and I will always love him. But I have moved forward with my life. Today I live in Kenya, and yes, I have found love again with a childhood friend. I've moved forward. And you too will move forward with your life. Just be kind to yourself. Be compassionate. And remember that this life is an adventure. It's a gift. And how lucky are we to be here? I'm Shalini Bala Lucas. Thank you for listening. you.